Login successful. Alright. Chat I have not opened up yet. But I'm starting a new game. It's really loud on my end. Alright. Cool, so new game setting. Normal difficulty requires strategy and efficiency, but forgives a few mistakes in combat. Companion combat AI is enabled by default, except. Yeah. Let's get started. So I've played this game a number of times. Never beat the whole thing. Just dabbled a few times. I've put like 60 hours in it total. Gotten pretty far in a few characters, but yeah, let's get going. Hover your mouse over an enemy's selection circle to see your chance to hit with your next attack or ability. What's up,
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world.
How are the levels? How's the volume?
All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored.
Check.
Though small in number,
Hails.
Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tyranny, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions.
Hell yeah.
Tyranny brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Okay, so I thought I saw some frames dropping here and there. Nothing's telling me that frames are actually dropping, so... Yeah, I have played this game a good bit. I wasn't using my party members very well. Like, I was using Verse for close combat, and Verse is better for like ranged, definitely. She's a lot more fragile. And I wasn't using Barrack as often, so I'm gonna do a playthrough on normal. Yeah, I hope that was just a cinematic. It looks fine now. That wind doesn't look weird. So I'm going to play this game. Cool. Do this. Okay. I'm gonna do a pretty tanky character. I die a lot in this game. I'm not good at Infinity Engine games, but I'm gonna do a tanky character, probably Sword and Shield, and then secondary magic. Role in the Northern Empire, where you were born, women enjoy equal protections under the laws of the Overlord Kairos. In the southern lands of the tiers, women may crew a ship, but only men may own or captain a vessel. While these customs give the oceans to the men, the lands are trusted to the women. Men may rent the lease, but only women may own land and bequeath it to their daughters and sisters. While following a parent's profession is standard, many women choose to pledge service to the overlord's powerful archons. Those without a viable trade or lands to call their own are often drafted into the armies of the archons, where it is assumed they will rise to glory or vanish in obscurity in accordance to their worth. Cool. Let's do my appearance. Like a lot of these. Obviously you need one that's like a POC woman. That's pretty sick. Why are you just doing that looks badass? I might have to go with... It's really a matter of like which one I'm gonna be okay with looking at for hours of my life. I really like this. Hair color... I'll give her silver hair. That'd be cool.
Ah, got it.
Female noble.
Quiet down!
Female aggressive.
On it. Found something.
Sneaky.
Ha! Good work!
You learn something every day. This'll be fun.
That wasn't so hard. Moving cautiously. We must rest soon. On it. Interesting.
This one's a little
Heads
extra.
up. We have company. Good
Female
work.
aggressive.
You learned. Ah, got it. Moving cautiously. We must rest soon. On it. Found something. Trouble is afoot.
I don't know. I think aggressive.
Good work.
That's so.
You learn something every day.
That's so quirky.
This'll be fun.
It sounds
That
too much like
wasn't
a
so
verse,
hard.
though.
Quiet down. I'm injured. See that? Trouble is afoot. Flawless. You learn something every day. I'll just hold on to this.
I'm gonna go with
That
noble.
wasn't so hard.
Let's do the hair. See, Ergonomics, you've played this. Pretty sure we talked about it before. Ooh, this is cool as hell. You need to beat pillars before you jump into this. You just keep finding reasons to dodge. I feel you. I'm weird with these types of games. I don't give up. I just stop playing these games sometimes. It really sucks. It's stupid. all this. I guess I can't do any eye color. Okay. So this is like backstory, you know what's up. I'm just gonna act like people don't know what this game is. It's a Let's Play. Alright, I'm not gonna read every one. Let's read Soldier real quick. Unable to settle the year's accounts with grain your parents offered you as a tithe to the Overlord instead. Seeing your first battles as a child, you've known all your life how to fight, how to stay calm, and the sight of blood and disembowelment, and how to rely on your fellow warriors. Deemed smarter than the average killer, you were groomed for command and given an education in the letters and numbers. With rumors of war, it seemed recruitment into the disfavored legion would be the obvious match for your skills, but the Archon of Justice is known to say that good iron is not used for swords, and good minds are not used for soldiers. Claimed by Tunon, you were instead drafted into the court of Fatebinders, where your martial skills were put to use in the enforcement of Kairos' laws. Tunon is the Judicator, and is the Archon of Justice, ruler of the conquered realms, and the arbiter of disputes. The oldest of the Archons sent to conquer the Tiers, Tunon speaks with Kairos' authority. His true appearance remains hidden behind an iron mask, the face of judgment. Disfavored Legion, the disciplined and battle-hardened. The disfavored are elite Legion in Kairos' army. They spearheaded conquest of the younger realms, finding themselves always outnumbered but never outclassed. Led by the steadfast and dutiful Graven Ash, whom they follow with obsessive devotion, they are committed to imposing their interpretation of order upon the relative lawlessness of the Tiers. The Legion only tolerates Northerners in the ranks, priding themselves on their high standards and cultural purity. On something like more in line with the Scarlet Chorus. Let's look at Pit Fighter. Pit Fighter, not wishing to pay to feed and house too, the Madame purchased your mother and sold you to the Proving Grounds, the Northern Empire's bloodiest, most notorious fighting arena, given the only enough training to assure the show isn't over too soon. Your natural prowess and survival instinct led you to one's victory after another. There was no elegant swordplay, no formalized duels, just brutal melee in the strength and the stench of blood, shit, and bronze within each day's gruesome necessities. It is said that any fighter that slays a dozen others in the grand melee is given her freedom, but in 300 years, only 3 warriors have ever walked away from the Proving Grounds. When the closing horns sounded and 13 corpses lay about your feet, you became the 4th to be granted freedom to thunderous applause. But this autonomy was short-lived. Within days, word of your accomplishment was made its way to the Archon of Justice. It's pretty cool. I like that. I just think that's a cool backstory. I'm gonna go with that. Pit Fighter. Alright, so primary expertise. You're trained in the following combat style. I'm gonna go Sword and Shield for my main combat style. Wielding a weapon and shield puts you in the front line of combat, standing between enemies and your allies. Holding a shield will slow down your attack rate slightly, but give you good defensive bonuses. Skills, one-handed weapons. Determines the effectiveness of attacks using weapons wielded in a single hand, swords, axes, daggers, and maces. Higher skill values lead to more accurate attacks, increasing the chance of critical strikes. +5 parry. Higher skill defends against melee attacks and spells. Higher skill ranks will reduce damage from enemy attacks and may lead them to miss altogether. Athletics determines the character's ability to traverse difficult terrain, as well as their ability to execute complicated moves. Combat athletics is used in dialogue to determine your ability to intimidate or physically overpower someone. So I'm choosing one of these two abilities. Shield Slam, cooldown 30 seconds, 10-15 crush versus endurance damage. Effects: focus target dazed for 20 seconds. So dazed is recovery increased by 50%. Recovery 3.5 seconds total. Interrupt average 2 seconds. Slam your shield against the target, dazing them for a moderate duration. Then I got Sunder. Deliver a powerful overhead attack that reduces the target's armor. Ooh. I'd rather reduce armor, honestly. So I'm gonna choose Sunder. So then I got a secondary expertise. I was thinking of doing vigor spells to buff my teammates. Vigor spells: the School of Vigor is a utility branch of magic that focuses on granting bonuses to yourself and your allies. And the ability I'd get with this would be Titan's Touch. Fill the target with a surge of greatness, granting them a bonus to might and vitality. Vitality determines a character's physical health and their strength of personality. Also increases the will defense. Might determines the physical strength of a character. Increased might leads to more powerful attacks and stronger abilities. I'm gonna do that. I'll buff my teammates, my party members, and myself if I need to. So I'm doing Sword and Shield and then Vigor spells. And my banner. So many cool designs. So I think gold is always the oh no, gold isn't the default. So I'm gonna do, I think I'll do silver banner, black font. Something like sinister looking. How are you doing today, Reaganomics? Oh, how are your holidays? Ooh, this noose is awesome. It's a noose. That's gnarly. It's sick. Character colors. I usually do the all black business because I like wearing all black IRL. Why not mix it up? Do silver and black. I honestly think I'll do all black. Solid holidays went well. Awesome. Good to hear. Yeah, mine went well too, actually. Drove up to Kentucky to see my family. It was fun. It was very fun. Had a good time. I'm gonna go all black. But now I'm back home with my PC. Enter name. This game is like sort of serious, so I'm gonna do a sort of serious name. Should I name her? Beatrice from KOTOR. Already do Bastila and Dragon's Dogma. I could do Mythala, Meridia. I like Meridia. I'm gonna do Ninma. That's a ancient Sumerian god, Anunnaki. That's just a cool ass name. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright. Ninma, the Battle Mage. Start the conquest then. Oh yeah, attributes. So I did a little research and I'm just gonna do like the strongest starting stats I can do. So I'm gonna do Vitality, Finesse, and Resolve. So Finesse attribute describes a character's physical and mental precision. Finesse is used to determine the accuracy of attacks and spells, as well as increasing worn armor's chances to reduce a hit type. Example, critical to a hit or a hit to a graze. And I'm putting in Vitality, determines the character's physical health, and their strength of personality also increases will defense. Vitality 13 is 50% bonus to health, 9 plus to will defense. Resolve determines the character's ability to endure physical and mental challenges. Resolve is a primary attribute used to derive endurance, will, and magic defenses. Also increases the durations of afflictions applied by the character. So that's gonna help me be like pretty strong. Oh damn, what did I do? So I'm doing 3 Vitality to Resolve, 3 Finesse. Oh, I fucked this up. I don't know what the starting traits were. I wasn't in chat. Let's see. How far back do I have to go to reset this? Sup, Turok? How are you doing? So I wanted finesse, vitality, and resolve. I don't want my wits that low though. Turok 10. What do you mean by 10? What's up? I think everything is base 10. Right. Awesome. So weapon skills. Got 20 points available. So athletics, lore, subterfuge. These all help with like dialogue options. This also helped me in sword and shield. How are you doing, Turok? Thanks for the help. Lore is good for vigor. Parry is good for sword and shield. So I got 20 points. So I'm going to invest in parry skill defends against melee attacks and spells. Higher skill ranks will reduce damage from any attacks and may lead to miss altogether. And then dodge is for ranged stuff. Dodge skill defends against ranged attacks from bows. Yeah. So I don't know if I should put anything into dodge in the first place. I'll put 2 last ones into one-handed magic staff. I don't know if I'm spreading my stats too thin this way, but I feel pretty fine with this. Chat, got any advice? So how do you want to continue? Conquest or quick start? I'm gonna do the conquest. It will allow me to play through Kairos' conquest of the tiers, choosing how your character was involved in invasion. This gives you the most control over the starting state of the game and how other factions will react to your character. So I'll be doing conquest. Let's go to next. Start conquest.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tiers, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior.
Cool.
In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tiersmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tiers sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Conquest. During Conquest, you'll decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion, with the Tiers shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the tiers respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. Kairos is a name out of legend. For centuries, the Overlord has consolidated power, sending vast armies to swallow entire realms. The most powerful mystic in the world has ever seen. Kairos can issue edicts, magical proclamations that level cities, spread pox, sunder lands, or change the course of seasons. Archons, masters of magic throughout the known world, bow to Kairos, and the Overlord readily destroys any Archons unwilling to kneel. These sorcerers and madmen lead the Overlord's armies in near-endless conquest. As the realms of the known world fall to the Overlord, these captured territories are divvied up amongst the Archons to manage. Able to deliver suffering and woe to every corner of Tyranny without leaving the capital, few have seen the Overlord in person. Though Kairos' name is the single most recognized name in the world, only the Archons can say what the Overlord looks like. Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and the Tiers. Built upon a natural harbor at the crossroad between the realms, the city was the nexus of commerce. To the Tiers, it was the center of all wealth. To a northerner, it was a little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' armies. Taking the city would send a message to the rest of the Tiers. Kairos' will is not insurmountable. Reaganomics. I've been trying to stream KOTOR 2. It's not working. Something's up with it. I got a new monitor recently, and it's like, I think it's tweaking out with the resolution. The game runs fine, but my software won't work with it right now. So I have to figure that out before I do more Knights of the Republic 2 streams. Yeah, it sucks. I'm really sad about it. I'm gonna have to like verify the integrity of the game cache or something, because I'm in love with those games and it's not letting me stream them right now. At least it runs exactly, so I can still play them. Alright. Infiltrate the Tiers. Both armies sent their forces to prepare the way. Gates of Judgment. The first major engagement of the war, Kairos' armies cross the mountains and establish a foothold. Let's look at Infiltrate the Tiers. History would remember the Gates of Judgment as the first battle of the conquest, but the real combat unfolded with advanced units of both armies preparing for the coming war. The Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus each had a plan to infiltrate the capital city. Which army did you join? So I haven't read about the Scarlet Chorus yet on stream. Scarlet Chorus is a little more than a gang of thugs and their captive slaves. Rather than organized under commissioned officers, the Chorus follow a hierarchy seemingly ruled by whoever has the bravado to command and defend their position. At the head of this chaotic pecking order is the Archon of Secrets, better known as the Voices of Nerat. Treats the Scarlet Chorus as his personal army. The Scarlet Chorus often suffers tremendous losses after battle, only to swell in the aftermath with captured enemies. Collateral prisoners are given to the cruel opportunity to join or die. So pretty much, this game isn't dualistic, like there are a lot of choices you can make, but for conquest at least, you'll be choosing between the Scholar Chorus and the disfavored army. And I like to be consistent, so I can have like replay value. So I'm gonna join the Scholar Chorus, just for this playthrough. Join the Scholar Chorus as they raided villages and small towns, conscripting every able-bodied man and women into the army. The voices of Narats emphasized the rewards of conscription and enslavement over wanton bloodshed. Apparently his soldiers needed the reminder. I'm going to go with that. Infiltrate tiers. Howling mobs of Scarlet Chorus found easy pickings among the villagers and frontier towns. Rallying an experienced gang under your control, you flooded the unprotected settlements with a deluge of bloodthirsty soldiers, rounding up the innocent for merciless rites of conscription. The young and infirm alike received makeshift weapons, and examples were made of all who challenged your forces. Bolstered with fresh recruits, your army gathered strength for the invasion to come. Containing the fire, Bastard City's resident fire mages threatened the first leg of the conquest. Cairo's forces put a stop to their unchecked power. Inside Agent, you found an ally within the city to prepare the way for the approaching armies. With the border garrison captured by your disfavored allies, you traveled ahead of Kairos' armies and lurked in the shadows of the Bastard City. You decided that converting one of the locals to Kairos' side would help bring the city to its knees. After all, corruption starts from within. You came to an agreement with a well-connected smuggler who knows how to sneak agents of the Scholar Chorus behind the city walls. The Scholar Chorus were better operatives than soldiers, and this work required a subtle touch. After accepting his deserved payment, the smuggler uncovered a long-forgotten tunnel that intersected within the sewers of the Bastard City. Armed with maps of the subterranean layout, your Scarlet Chorus allies fanned out to occupy various city districts undercover. They spent the ensuing weeks murdering key officials and sabotaging defenses wherever possible, weakening the tier's capital under their very noses of its leaders. Hell yeah. Betrayal of the Bastard City. Your tactics of infiltration placed you in the Bastard City ahead of the main armies. Your work softened the city defenses for the arriving of Kairos' forces, but you wanted a decisive gesture that would give your allies meaningful advantage. How did you assist in the fall of the Bastard City? Got three options. One is like my own choice, not siding with anyone. It's a pretty cool game, roleplay it. Like you're super evil, right? That's the only way to go. What's up, Longhorn Bull? How are you doing tonight? Not many games can you roleplay being super evil, honestly. And like have it make complete sense. Alright, spread through fear of assassination. Incite a riot. Duel the city marshal. Let's see. Oh yeah, you get abilities. So unfortunately I'm gonna have to go with whichever is the best ability. Let's read them first. So the Scholar, I will not go with disfavored because I want to stay with the Scholar Chorus or my own decision. Spreading the word of Kairos. You converted the poor and disaffected into a hidden army of the Scholar Chorus. Once the dust settled, the army wished to bolster their troops with these sleeper cells. I'd be getting a fire spell. That's that's really awesome early on, and it's with the Scarlet Chorus. Let's do that. Didn't take much to convince the bastard cities downtrodden that Kairos was the superior power. You armed them with weapons and knowledge of a signal you would raise when the time was right. As the armies appeared outside the walls, you ignited the spark that fanned their anger into a full-scale riot. The chaos they spread in Kairos' name weakened the city to such an extent that its inevitable fall was but a formality. Bastard City settled into a new state of normalcy, where every tower displaying Kairos' banner. Your name was whispered alongside rumors of decorated career to come. The armies divided you into two fronts and migrated south. Tunon sent word that you were to join the next frontier of Kairos' conquest, either as a judge and overseer of the settlement at Lethean's Crossing, or as a war advisor within the armies advancing into the realm of Apex. So I get to choose one of the locations to go to. Alright, Lethean's Crossing. Deposits of iron made the settlement of Lethean's Crossing a strategic war asset. Kairos sent the Forgebound, the Smith Mages of acceptable skill to establish a flow of weaponry. Tunon the Adjudicator sent one of his Fatebinders to ensure the enforcement of Kairos' law. Hurrying to Apex. The troops of the mountain realm of Apex stood idle in the safety of their valley. Binding their name as their neighbors in the Bastard City tier fell. In the second year of war, a joint force of the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus crossed over the mountains to take control of the tier's central valley. Lethean's Crossing is honestly more interesting. Confirmed. Second year of Kairos' conquest. Right. Years ago, Lethean the Bold founded a small merchant town at the intersection of the ancient Oddwalls. A pact between the settlers and a mercenary company meant that caravans were able to travel without fear of bandits or bane, and the town thrived in modest insignificance. Lethean's Crossing drew Kairos' attention for the iron deposits in their surrounding hills. With the region under Kairos' control, the northern Smith Mages could set up workshops to refine ore and arm the disfavored with the finest weapons in the known world. The Archon of Secrets dismantled the mercenary support with generous bribe, taking the crossing in a bloodless victory. Tunon dispatched you to travel alongside Kairos' forces and bring order to the region. So we got Founder. He found a clever solution to improve the production of the iron weapons and armor. Archon of Song's power ensnared the mind of a disfavored soldier. Let's go with Iron Must Flow. Kairos' Smith Mages worked day and night to create weapons. No one faulted their dedication, yet production was low. The plans that came to light proved divisive to the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus. On one hand, any additional manpower was needed for the fighters, not forges. On the other hand, the celebrated weaponry of Kairos' armies needed to be fiercely guarded. Alright, this is the Scarlet Chorus option, which is what I'll be going with. You can scripted help from a local tribe of beastmen. Their strength would more than offset their disobedience. The disfavored protested that the savages have access to the secrets of iron, but their voices were few compared to the support of the Scarlet Chorus. Scarlet Chorus were overjoyed to learn of a beastman conscription, and graciously lent their support to your cause. The local beastmen were subdued and yoked to iron-bearing wagons, where their boundless strength and tirelessness provided critical to the smith mages. The disfavored grew agitated about exposing the secret of iron to savages. You attempted to allay their concerns, but your words fell flat before a stubborn, uncompromising audience. Alright, so I got two more options. Pick of the armory. As the forges improved production, both armies demanded preferential treatment. Guardians due tensions rose as disfavored, and Scarlet Chorus soldiers rubbed elbows with the mercenaries hired to guard the forges. I haven't done this path before, so this is pretty cool. Guardians due. Kairos' armies used Lethean's Crossing as a reprieve from the war. The city grew more crowded as a mercenary army hired by the Archon of Secrets occupied the barracks, where they drained resources and escalated tensions. The disfavored wanted nothing to do with the sellswords, but the Scarlet Chorus sought to invite them into the fold. You let the Scarlet Chorus and the mercenaries engage in combat, games, and challenges, and allowed laws against revelry and merriment to go unenforced. Those who won the contest took a greater share of provisions, and sellswords of merit were invited to join Kairos' army. The games proved an excellent opportunity to relieve tensions, settle disputes, and guarantee future cooperation between the two forces. Any grievances were resolved by ritual combat, messier than your adjudication, but arguably more entertaining for those outside of the arena. Mercenaries who proved themselves worthy opponents found reward in joining the ranks of the Scarlet Chorus, where many of them carved out positions among the elite fighters. Sick. Who controlled the crossing? Tragedy struck when a mercenary hired by the Voices of Nerat injured a forge-bound artisan, leaving him unable to practice his craft. Tunon ordered the mercenaries to leave the city in hands of Kairos' more responsible servants. Only a token garrison could be left behind while the armies returned to the front. As disfavored and Scarlet Chorus showed increasing tension and hostility towards each other, Tunon decreed it best that only one force control the crossing. Who controlled the crossing? Scarlet Chorus. Scarlet Chorus flowed to Lethean's Crossing with overeager and undisciplined recruits. In the first few days of occupation, settlers suffered under rampant theft, murder, rape, and arson. By the following week, the hordesmen who sowed chaos for personal gain were dead, strung up by the more disciplined half that took up the reins of the self-appointed bosses of Lethean's Crossing. The Forgebound continued to mint iron weapons and armor which Kairos' merchants carted to the disfavored garrisons elsewhere in the tiers. Shipments were light, sometimes absent. Scarlet Chorus quartermaster claimed ignorance of the matter. That was cool. So a lot of options right here. With the mercenaries expelled in Lethean's Crossing under new leadership, Kairos' forces congratulated themselves on bringing order to the settlement and guaranteeing productive flow of resources. Over the course of this diversion, the army front advanced further into the tiers. Your skills were needed in the realm of Azure, Stalwart, or the Vellum Citadel. The Vellum Citadel was a library fortress, the largest archive of the written world in the tiers. The School of Ink and Quill protected and maintained the archive of ancient lore for centuries, standing apart from the political upheavals of the Younger Realms as an enduring pillar of knowledge and culture. So I did a different path. I did the Veldon Citadel once, and I didn't like how it turned out. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm going to have to go with Stalwart or Azure. Stalwart, with its easily defended position and rich military tradition, the realm of Stalwart was the most formidable realm in the tiers. Azure, Kairos dispatched the Archon of Stone to subjugate the nation of Azure. Let's go Stalwart. Third year of Kairos' conquest. Stalwarts. The realm of Stalwart was best known for its proud army, disciplined, courageous, and undefeated on their home soil. Skill and resolve made Stalwart a military power that Kairos forces approached with due caution. With its southern position, Stalwart had been largely safe from war, watching for 2 years as its neighbors fell to Kairos' forces. On the dawn of the third year of war, Kairos' forces were finally poised to invade the Stalwart Peninsula and subdue the tier's most vaunted army. Let's see. Stinging defeat led to accusations among Kairos' armies. Let's do that. After defeat at the hands of enemy defenders, the Scarlet Chorus accused the disfavored of recklessness. The disfavored claimed that the Scarlet Chorus brought too few soldiers to cover their flanks. Both armies refused to march until you gave a ruling. Lacking proof that the Scarlet Chorus recruits were negligent, you punish the disfavored commander for his failure and for bringing charges without evidence. Graven Ash was the first to step forward to dispute your ruling. He argued that the Scarlet Chorus were a directionless menace, sowing chaos and disorder wherever they went. What further evidence did you need? After you politely reminded him that his opinions were inadmissible, he stormed out of the camp with a unit of soldiers and didn't return for several hours. Alright. Negative conscription. Suspicions arose when the Scarlet Chorus soldiers fought under the banner of Stalwart. Follow the regents. When an enemy commander fell captive, Kairos' armies argued over what to do with her. The armies of Kairos collaborated on the capture of an enemy leader. The Scarlet Chorus requested that she be interrogated by the Archon of Secrets. The disfavored wished to display her corpse in battle. Since the Stalwart defenders refused to surrender, a gesture was needed to instill fear. I'm gonna go for fear. I'm gonna go for fear on this one. So I'm gonna go with the disfavored. He ordered the enemy commander executed. Her body is displayed as a warning for those who would defy the Overlord. Fall of Regents. The stalwart regent, made for grim display, lashed to ribbons and suspended on disfavored standard. Yet the effect on the battlefield was immediate. The sight caused an uproar among stalwart soldiers who broke formation in their frenzy to answer blood for blood. The disfavored hewed through their disorganized ranks with minimal difficulty and cherished the corpse as the most useful recruit to Kairos' army yet. Damn. Edict of Storms. The disfavored carved a slow, steady path into the heart of Stalwart and surrounded the enemy's massive fortress. With the main bulk of their forces defeated, the enemy leadership retreated to their mighty fortress, content to wait out the war. Overlord answered this impudence with an Edict of Storms on the peninsula, a devastating spell that would endure for as long as the cowardly hearts of stalwart leaders persisted in beating. Pleased by your efforts, Tunon deemed you the proper representative to deliver Kairos' edict. Aside from being given a 3-day window to read the edict, you received no other instructions. Edict of Storms. Warn the people. Give no warning. Alright. I'm going to warn them. In an attempt to integrate themselves with the people of Star, Scott Chorus insisted that warning to be sent to the towns and villages so that the people may prepare for the horror about to descend on them. Kairos' wrath was intended for the cowardly regents of Stalwart, not those unfortunates swept up in the calamity of their leadership. Warning in advance of the spell would give locals time to prepare for the devastation to come. You were content to let punishment fall on the innocent as lightly as Kairos' will allows. Comforted that you might yet spare lives, you broke the seal of Kairos' Edict of Storms and read the Overlord's incantation. Edict of Storms. The clear skies darkened as you read the final words of the edict. A flurry of wind and rain whipped through the rolling plains and craggy canyons, turning rocks, uprooted trees, and hapless soldiers into hazardous shrapnel. Armed with a measure of foresight, you were able to remove yourself from the area before the storms grew more violent. Over time, nearby communities told of cyclones consisting of thousands of soldiers' worth of limbs, spears, armor, and skulls. What's more, the weather showed no sign of dissipating. Several units of disfavored who fought the enemy in spite of advancing the storm were caught up in the Overlord's magic. The few survivors regrouped and nursed their wounds. The failure to topple the Stalwart Legion shamed them into believing the dead more fortunate. The name Stalwart fell from use. People took to calling it the Blade Grave, for the remade landscape festooned with the iron and bronze arrangements of two once great legions. As Kairos' forces departed, you spared a glance back at the ruins of Stalwart, marveling at your work. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into service once more. I think that was it for Conquest. I'm not going to have to read that much. Conquest complete. You've reached the end of Kairos' Conquest. Do you want to continue or erase your progress and start over? Continue. Armor can never reduce a damage below 1. Time to play. Loading screens in this game are surprisingly long. It's sort of weird.
The year is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused. And Kairos has one message for the Archons. Crush the Oathbreakers, or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict. A magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Didn't that also happen in Fatebinder and Ninma, I presume? We've been expecting you. Didn't that also happen in Pillars of Eternity? There's like an avalanche or something, you got trapped somewhere. So I got a crush staff. I have a slash pierce sword. Cool. Welcome to Tyrannus. This is your first visit to the world of Tyranny. Watch for these windows to help you become familiar with the game. You can disable tutorial messages at any time in the game options menu. Let's talk to this person. Kairos the Overlord, be praised. When I heard the avalanche, I feared the valley was sealed with you on the other side. The Disfavored warrior claps her gauntlet to her breastplate, the traditional salute of her legion. Alright, conversations involve you, another character, and sometimes additional parties, like bystanders or companions, who may interject. The choices you make change how the story develops, and will build a reputation for your character over time. People in the world will learn of your reputations, good and bad, and respond accordingly. Yeah, so sometimes you can level up with certain dialogue options like lore right here. I'll level lore if I choose that option. Each character has a little symbol showing their allegiance. So I'll use lore. We're told a Fatebinder is coming, and though our commanders will not say why, it seems obvious. Graven Ash and the voices of Narat can agree on nothing, least of all battle plans to wipe out the Oathbreakers. I trust you bring orders from Tunin that will break this deadlock. Can you hear that hum in the air? the glow around the rocks. The avalanche is Kairos' magic. The Overlord has sealed the valley. Aurora. Your senses seem more than mine. Good Fatefinder, I do not pretend to know much about such things, but if that was Kairos' magic, and you are headed here on important business, well, you don't have to be the Archon of Secrets to guess that you're here to proclaim an edict. What does Kairos have in store for the enemy? 10 years of festering plague? An edict of twisted bones? I come bearing an edict of Kairos. Our soldiers will complete their task or die. Aurora. The edict is leveled against us. Her eyes widen with fear. Her posture slackens. The Scarlet Chorus prevents us from taking action. Why would the Overlord punish both of... She clears her throat with a sigh. Forgive me, it's not my place to question. We should have conquered the enemy within weeks of arriving in the valley. The delay reflects poorly on all of us. I'll do some subterfuge. Subterfuge. Your first instinct is to blame the Scarlet Chorus. No wonder Kairos resorts to an edict to enforce order. I gained 25 subterfuge skill experience. Aurora, yes. Well, her eyes shift to the side. There has indeed been a little goodwill between our armies, and you're right. When we act as we do, what choice do we give the Overlord? She takes a deep breath, nodding as she exhales. You're right, I should cast no blame so freely, especially not when talking to a servant of justice. My apologies. Aurora, well, you've traveled a long way. I won't keep you further. I'm sure the Archons will want to hear from you at... Her voice falls silent, her attention snapping eastward with alarm. Did you hear that? More runners. Third time this week. The Oathbreakers keep trying to send messengers through the mountains to gather help from outside the valley. She points over to the collapsed path by which you arrived. But they're a bit too late for that now. Come, let's show these Oathbreakers a good fight. And the Oathbreakers, in honor of Vendrian Guard, on the surrender of 429, soldiers in both the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus now refer to these tiersmen as Oathbreakers. It is perhaps one of the few points of agreement between the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus. I don't know why that didn't auto pause. That was weird. Options. Auto pause. Combat start. Combat auto slow automatically puts combat into slow motion. Not necessary. Let's try out Sunder. It's a shield skill.
Will do.
Yeah. So these tips appear, as an isometric RPG. Using the Infinity Engine, real time with pause, tactical RPG. Yeah, you get it. Just thrust on him.
Right.
Let's try some fire on him.
Right.
I'm gonna... Can I use this on her? What can I use it on her? Use Titan's Touch on her. why I can't. Oh, is it because she's not a part of my party? Yeah, that's why. I used it on myself. It's one down. Let's check further along the path for more. Talent points. That's just explaining the skill system, and I'll show you that later. Whetstone. 2 armor penetrated by attacks for 300 seconds. That's awesome. Potion of protection plus 2 armor. That's nice. Oh yeah, this is really awesome. Item. Blood of the Fallen, range. The fringes of the scroll are splattered with blood, but is not faded, and it retains its sickening moisture. I got this sword, let's see how it compares. Plus 0.24 DPS, plus 3 armor penetration, awesome. Hell yeah, looks cool too.
I got it.
Avalanche has blocked us. Think you could fit through the rubble? I'm pretty sure F6 is autosave. Let's try it out. Quick save? Yeah, it is.
Take that!
Press your weight against the boulder and directly into the path until it starts to move. Hell yeah.
Die!
So yeah, and every enemy has specific defenses. So let's right click this. So this one, he's got 7 pierce armor, 7 crush armor, and then 0 arcane and 0 fire. So I'm going to want to use fire on him because he's super vulnerable to fire. Dude, I right clicked on the wrong person. So this person's got really bad slash damage. So I'm gonna use thrust on her.
Right.
Use a little tooltip on character recovery. Little tip. All characters, friends, and foes must recover after every action they take in combat. This recovery timer is displayed above each character in combat. The length of the recovery time varies based on the character, the weapon they're wielding, and the armor they have equipped. The attack, ability, or spell they used as well. If you issue an action to a character and want to cancel it, you can press X with that character selected. Once an action has progressed far enough, for example, an attack has dealt damage, it cannot be cancelled. Yup. So Sunder does slash damage, so I'm going to use that next.
Heads up, we have company. Will
Buff
do.
myself with Titan's Touch. This guy's 0 fire armor, so I'm gonna use Searing Palm. Awesome. Sun Soldier's Javelin. Let's talk to this guy. Stone Shield. Don't bother with me. Go down to the pass justice. The soldier clutches his gut and winces. You can see a hint of entrails between his fingers. You're wounded and it's not trivial. Stone Shield. He laughs through the clenched teeth. This but a scratch. I've seen twice as worse as 10 times over. He doubles over in pain, gagging and shivering. Keep hold of your guts, then. Farewell. He releases his wound to flash you a pained salute. Hail, Kairos. Hails. Let's do this. I don't know if this game is fun to watch for everybody. You sort of have to be into this type of game to appreciate it. Waking Death will revive when defeated for 120 seconds. Here we go.
Try and catch me, worm.
A young Scarlet Fury weaves around the Venturing Guard attackers, avoiding their weapons with fluid grace. She nods to acknowledge you. Breathless enemy soldier passes a glance to her countrymen. This one's crazy. Too much lead in her water. We should cut our losses and turn back.
Harbinger. Still standing after 3 years of war. Come join me in battle once again. We'll show these children how it's done.
Save something for me. So she called me Harbinger because I spent the first year of the war fighting alongside Kairos' soldiers on the field of battle. Tunon demands that all his Fatebinders to know war before they judge it. Given the choice of assignments, you elected to join the forward elements of the Scarlet Chorus, tasked with moving ahead of the main battle. Known among each other as the Harbingers, this group of first veterans is a dying breed these days. Those still alive, such as the Scarlet Fury, you know as Verse, are now some of the most accomplished and fearsome warriors in the Scarlet Corps. Some nice lore right there. Save something for me. Sun Soldier. For the realm of Apex, charge. The Venturing Guard level their weapons in advance. So I think she joined my party. I'll mess with her AI in a second. But let's go ahead and let's attack her. Sunder. Sunder reduces the target's armor. So I'm gonna use it on
Will
her.
do. Let's see what it's all about.
And I think I'm going to use thrust. Her armor is down by 30, I think. Whoa, hold up. Something's interesting about this weapon, I think. Eradicating on weapon hit. Charges low health enemies with energy, triggering violent explosions on death. That's awesome. So that's my sword I got from having a Paradox account. Like it when you have a Paradox account. So I'm gonna use Titan's Touch on Verse, which boosts vitality, determines the character's physical health and strength and personality, increases will defense and might, determines physical strength, leads to more powerful attacks.
On it.
I'm gonna sunder him.
Phew. I can tell you didn't spend the conquest in a diplomat's tent.
She surveys the fresh corpses and nods with satisfaction.
I'm Verse, by the way. But there are more important things to take care of than introductions. Those Vendrian guard we killed didn't come alone.
She gestures to the skirmish unfolding in the pass below, shaking her head. You fight like a storm. What's your role in the army?
A Scarlet Fury, one of the elite killers of our ignoble gang. You'll see more than a few of us around camp, but don't let that fool you. We're a rare breed. Most of the soldiers in the Scarlet Chorus are little more than farmers and children armed with rusted forks. Makes them easier to control. The voices of Nerat called his best fighters to this siege. There must be something important about Vendrian's well, though don't ask me what. The Archon isn't in the habit of spilling secrets.
I'm ready if you are. Let's join the battle. Slay.
Eager. I like that. Before we go, you might search among the remains of our fallen comrades. Wherever they're bound, I doubt they'll miss their boots, much less any rings or any useful iron they might be clutching.
I see your point. Nice and practical.
No reason to pity the fallen. Before long, we might wish we'd joined them here. But at least we'll enjoy heavy pockets and warm toes. For the voices of Nerat!
Hell yeah. Salute these bodies. Gotta hide. Scroll and some other stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna experiment with her AI. Right now I have her. Let's see. Defend party. The character will attack anyone who attacks a member of the party, but will not seek out targets. Let's do aggressive. Character will actively seek out targets. So for her, she's got Blade Dancer. First, will fight aggressively in melee, targeting enemies with low health, low defense. She will attempt to remain mobile in the battlefield and alternate between the Red Geyser and Seeking Sheath stances at high health and 3 Whispers at low health. When in danger, Verse will attempt to use her Unbound ability to trick the enemy and attack vulnerable enemy targets. So I'm gonna see how she does melee. I might switch her over to an archer. Save game. Save file. Awesome.
On it.
Tarkus Dimos. Eyes forward, not looking back. No looking back. Vendrian Guard warrior rose with his flax held high, his words largely lost over the din of combat. Stand aside, or your funeral will be over the side of the bluff. Seeing you squarely in his path, the soldier points his weapon your way. There's no escape, and for Oathbreakers, no surrender. And we'll settle this with bronze. The warrior points toward you, ordering his men to advance. These fools don't know when to stop. I like that. Charge, says Verse. Tarkus Dimos. As he signals his men to charge, the sound of chanting rises from the south, drawing his attention. Scarlet Chorus reinforcements, hurry! Mocking blaze, run down the Oathbreakers, let none escape. From the red mob of reinforcements from the south, Blood Chanter emerges at the head of the rabble. The ornamental crest on her staff, pulsing with crimson tones. Signing sigils of magic and wordlessly moving her mouth, Blood Chanter scribes a series of spells into the air. A red glow surrounds the venturing guard warriors as the chanter's magic worms its way into their minds, blinding them with rage. Targus Demos, hold position, all of you. You there, keep to the path. The warrior gestures along the canyon trail, but his soldiers turn their attention to the Scarlet Chorus, roaring challenges. No, don't engage them. We need to run. His orders falling on deaf ears, the warrior reluctantly readies his weapon. So, let's have Verse target him, and I will target him as well. Well, I'm gonna buff Verse real quick. This just talks about companions and companion AI. I already know about that.
Take that!
Alright, now I'm going to sunder somebody. Sunder this guy. He's got 0 fire armor, so let's use some fire armor. Let's thrust him. Crescent Runner. Come quick, we have a situation on the cliffside. They have the commander. You know what? I'm gonna loot stuff first. Cool, I got some armor and a shield.
Will do.
A hat and some cheese. Skycat, plus lore, plus magic skills, plus 4 wits. That's awesome. Some agate. Some other stuff. What are you doing? You'll draw attention to me. Alright. I'll leave you then. Let's look and see if any of this armor I just got is good. This is plus 0.5 armor, minus disengagement, minus deflection. I don't want that. Cool. Scarlet Fury helm. This is just positive all around. Plus 1 accuracy, better recovery, better deflection. I'm gonna hide the helmet though. I like how my character looks.
Yes.
Pilix Tyrol. Stow your weapons, or we'll find out how long. The man screams before hitting the ravine down below. Corner between a precipitous drop and a band of angry soldiers. The Oathbreaker warrior holds a disfavored officer at knife point. Skewer him. Worry not for me. Graven Ash will protect. Disfavored officer winces. Blood seeping from the seams of his bracers and cuirass. You heard the man. He plainly invited you to use the little blade of yours. What are you waiting for? Permission from your pimp? This blade, with the jerk of the knife, he slices off a clump of Drassa's matted hair. If you're so eager to see your ally dead, just step closer. So I have athletics 30, which means I can qualify for this dialogue option. Lower your weapon, then charge forward and wrestle the knife from him. The Oathbreaker cracks a wide smile as you lower your weapon. That's right. Now the rest of you drop those weapons. With his attention on the other warriors, you dash forward. He reaches out with his dagger to slay Drastus, but your hand is already on his wrist. With a wrenching twist, you mangle his hand, dropping the dagger harmlessly to the ground. The disfavored warriors rush forward. From either side of you, Tyrol barely manages a straight gasp before being hackled and impaled upon their swords and spears. Hell yeah. Justice. Kairos be praised. That Oathbreaker fought with the rage of Charon himself. Drastus slides a trembling hand along the cut of his neck. Thank you, Fatebinder. I thought today was my last. From the look of it, guess they thought if they swarmed the pass, maybe one might make it out. We found a few scraps of parchment on the bodies. Drastus holds a handful of crumpled parchments for your inspection. A student of letters such as yourself should be able to make sense of this. Examine the parchment. Repeating the same messages on different written scripts, the parchments explain the Vendrian Guard's desire to overthrow Kairos' Archons and rout their armies from the tiers. The pages aren't addressed to any specific reader, but rather openly invites all whom remain loyal to the younger realms to gather at Vendrian's Well. Alright. Recruitment material. They were trying to bring more traders into the fight. Well, from the look of it, we kept them from slipping out of the valley. Whatever they hoped to accomplish, I think their plan died here. Archons are expecting you. When you're ready, leave by the gate to the southeast and follow the trails downslope for a few hours. You'll see the campfires leagues away. You can't miss it. Quick finger bangles, haste, +1 quickness. So quickness determines your cooldown, or like the length in between moves. It's pretty awesome. Man, I love this sword. This sword is so sick. Let's go over here. My athletics should be high enough. Climb up the rope.
Interesting.
Yeah. Potion of invisibility. Invisible for 60 seconds. Nice.
Will do.
This game is so pretty, I love it. Should be able to climb up this rope too. Use the holes in the wall to climb it. Subterfuge is not high enough. Thought it might be high enough with verse, but I guess not. Alright, looks like I'm going to go see the Archons. Disfavored camp. Whew. Cool. Let's do 7. Do 4. Cool. Crescent Runner. Hail, Fatebinder. Disfavored scout nods at your approach. Camp's on up ahead. Don't mind us, just clearing out the rabble. Still don't understand what I've done to offend. I respect that these are now disfavored lands, and I'm happy to give the Legion a proper toll. She's going on about trading rights. What nonsense is this? I'm not allowed to trade one thing for another. It's not like I'm selling weapons to angry peasants or anything of the sort. This is none of my concern. Carry on. Alright, you are. We'll take care of this vulture. Damn. This is verse. Slow down a moment. I know we're both eager to watch the Archons bicker over tactics like a pair of magpies, but I need to ask you something first. What's up? Voices of Nerat told me that you've come as a mediator. Considering the source, well, I can't help but feel I'm only hearing half the story. So let's have it out. What's so special about you? Lore. Let's tell the truth. I'm here to deliver an edict from Kairos. It makes a crazy kind of sense, considering how long the siege has taxed the armies. I can understand why Kairos would send you with an edict to speed things along. Have you read it? Do you know what it says? Archons must claim Ascension Hall by Kairos' Day of Swords, or all will perish. One more thing for the Archons to fight over. Well, thanks for cluing me in. If Kairos sends any lightning our way, just tell me when to duck. I really ought to be meeting with the Archons. The war tent is just past the center of camp. One last thing. Be careful around these disfavor types. They take their work seriously. Most have suffered too many blows to the head. Things first.
Not happening.
I love how pretty this game is. Go no further. You approach disfavored ground, state your business. I'm Ninma, a Fatebinder of Tunin. I bring words from Kairos. Words for your commander's ears. Stone shield, understood. On behalf of this favored, welcome you into our camp. Archons are gathered in the war tent. Head straight through the gate. This guy's a merchant right here. Hail to you, guardian of the law. Do you have few excess rings weighing you down? Best unburden yourself before battle. Let me see what you have. Alright, sell him some stuff. At least sell him this agate. Trade. Alright, let's go over. Yeah, if you're playing this game, make a Paradox account, and they give you cool items. Ooh, cool, I can level up.
What do we have here?
Verse spotted this over here. Nice. Agate and Potion of Elemental Barrier. Plus 50 defense against paralyzed, burning, frozen attacks. Plus 10 armor. Nice. Looks like I can level up. Unspent talent points. So, got quickness right here. Quickness determines how often a character can use their abilities, spells in combat, reducing cooldown durations. I'm gonna have to put a point in that. I'm gonna figure out. I think I'm gonna do the power tree. Look at all the passives. Also, need to look at magic. Damn. Looks like I'll be focusing on power and finding spells to use. So this adds armor penetration to the thrust ability and increases its accuracy. This right here, what's a new stance? Aggressive stance that focuses on powerful strikes that penetrate foes' armor. Aggressive stance that focuses on rapid strikes to overwhelm opponents. I'm gonna have to go with adds armor penetration to the thrust ability, increases accuracy. Alright. And the spell creation is pretty cool. You find different sigils and stuff. And you can use different combinations to create different types of spells. I'll be using that later on. Checking out these weapons right now. So I always want to keep my recovery a lot lower, but this shield is plus 11 dodge, plus 11 parry, and plus 6 endurance. Recovery is lowered, but I'm going to equip this. It's pretty good. It's very good, actually. I know there's an option where I can mess around with his armor. I like this white. Something about it, I just like it. This gray. Let's see what verse looks like with the gray. Let's go with the all black. Looks slick. Cool. Awesome. Man, her recovery is great. 1.8 seconds. Mine's a whole 4.2. Alright, let's go to the Archon's tent. Different enemies are susceptible to different types of damage. Identifying their weakness will give you an edge in battle. Very true.
That's 4 reports of avalanches in the mountains now. The Tiersmen can barely count past 9. They have neither the capacity nor the cause to close off the mountain passes. Either way, that leaves the 2nd and 4th cohort trapped outside the valley.
Archon of War pounds his staff to the ground to punctuate his words. Large and imposing man. To begin with, his profile is made larger still by his hulking suit of armor that hums with mystic energy.
Or it's the work of your perfidious Earthshakers. Only a fool would not suspect a traitorous Archon of poisoning the mind of his students with sedition. We would have killed the Earthshakers Guild for their master's treachery, but I'm sure you have some perfectly valid reason for allowing them to live as your pawns.
Archon of Secrets passes the scepter between his hands as he speaks, twirling the rod in hypnotic circles. You hear the voices in your head. Well, hello there, Fatebinder. We'll be with you in just a moment. Emerald luminescence seeps from the seams of the Archon's ragged red robes. The glow is almost noticeable where his neck ought to be. His mask seems to float and spin, never pivoting or bending naturally.
Hey, watch yourself. When these two get going, you don't want to get between them.
I'm here to proclaim Kairos' edict. The valley was sealed in preparation for this moment. The 5th Eye. Ah, why didn't you speak up sooner? My Lord Archons, the governor of Lethian's Crossing, has finally arrived. I beg you to cease arguing for a moment. Bow to the Archons. Apologies for the sudden entrance. I've traveled long to be here.
Ah, the Stormcaller. Conveniently late once more. Our eyes and ears tell us you come bearing an edict. The anticipation is killing us.
My soldiers tell me you helped Commander Drotus on your way through Edring. You honor the court with your selfless cooperation, for that is the sort of camaraderie that Kairos demands of us all.
Last of his words, the Archon of War glares at the voices of Nerat, furrowing his brow as he utters the word camaraderie. I require no thanks of doing my sworn duty.
Modesty is your prerogative, but know that cooperation and goodwill have been rarities of late. You do your Lord Tunon a great honor by aiding your cousins in the disfavored.
No, don't mind us while you trade your gushing praise. We're sure the Fatebinder has come because our company lacks in small talk.
Come bearing an edict of Kairos.
Once again, you bring us support in a time of need. We fondly remember your service to the Chorus in the taking of the Bastard City. We knew back then you were destined for great things. But we had not anticipated you would be twice honored with the task of proclamation. So, do not keep us waiting. What is the Overlord's will?
The Overlord's loyal servants must hold Ascension Hall by Kairos' Day of Swords, or all in the valley shall perish. The earth sways with each word you utter, the air thickening with warmth as you pronounce the tersely phrased commandment. It's every syllable drafted by the hand of Kairos. With the edict proclaim, your pulse quickens and the muscles in your legs, worn from a long trip down the mountains, feel renewed. Tired limbs now nearly buoyant with vigor.
The Overlord means to compel us into action. No doubt the avalanches in the mountains are part of this ultimatum. We must conquer the Oathbreakers or die in failure. There is no room for error, and no other way out of this valley alive. We'll need to advance across the Mittani. We lose everything if we stand still. And we move to back up Plan Green. The Earthshakers didn't make it over the mountain in time. So we do this the hard way. Over the walls instead of through.
So, you found your backbone at last! Oh, we were worried past humiliations would make you soft, timid. That was a record for you, right? The baker's dozen lost in one sortie. If you had waited for the Chorus reinforcements, maybe we'd have eyes and ears on the matter.
Archon of Secrets passes his scepter from one hand to the next. You hear voices within your head. Watch him squirm. So many tears over replaceable, expended, useless soldiers. I miss the old Archon of War. You never see blood echo in a blubbering mess over a few dead killers. He'd use the knuckle bones of his best disciples for jewelry, and even made a breastplate out of his dead brother's ribcage. Because that's how real men deal with grief. Jeez. Bicker all you wish, we're just wasting valuable time.
The Fatebinder is right. We're acting not as leaders, but as children. I've no time for your foolish japes and petty taunts. We should focus on the objective at hand, and that is taking the Mittani River, and then advancing to Ascension Hall and ending this edict.
Enough talking is work to be done. Iron Marshal Irenaeus, my lord, Beric and his band have been drilled on Eco Hall assault plan. The Crescent Runners should be briefing him as we speak regarding the latest enemy movements along the river. I will dispatch him at once. Eye. I will ensure the chorus stands ready to march. The disfavored can take the river. The chorus has the manpower to secure the outer ring of the valley.
Our soldiers clamor for battle, and at last we shall have it. Verse, we command you to continue guarding the Fatebinder. Tunan's chosen is our honored guest, and must be shown our finest hospitality.
I won't let you down, boss. She'll get through the campaign in one piece, as long as she doesn't do anything too stupid.
The Archon twirls his scepter one last time. Suit yourself, Fatebinder. The more you ignore us. Then he taps the fifth eye on the shoulder, and the two depart.
Finally, the fool and his puppet are gone. Perhaps now I can hear myself think. Rarely do I question Kairos' judgment, but I will never understand why the voices of Narot is given such authority. I shudder to think what will become of us all should Tunon favor him in the end. Though the edict threatens the Scarlet Chorus just as it threatens us, I cannot shake the feeling that our allies will work against us. Now, if you'll leave me be, I have a battle to plan. I imagine duty requires you speak with the chorus further, but if I can convince you to lend a hand, most of my legion is trapped beyond the mountains, so I'm in need of an added sword or two. If you wish to be counted amongst the glorious, speak with the Iron Marshal. She will direct the order of battle until we are ready for the final push into the Citadel.
Iron Marshal. I'm short a few scouts, short a few soldiers, short a few everything. I'm sure my brethren will be grateful for the assistance of a skilled outsider. And what of the Scarlet Chorus? How will they be helping?
I ask myself that question often. While we take the river crossing, the Scarlet Chorus should be using their sizable presence to remove the Oathbreaker patrols lurking in the outer valley.
Iron Marshal. The Oathbreakers have maintained a sizable force outside the Citadel. We need the Chorus's manpower to scour the region, otherwise the Oathbreakers will attack at our heels once we cross the Matani. Glares silently. Iron Marshal salutes Graven Ash, then turns to leave the tent. I will be at the training grounds, readying the soldiers. Find me there when you're ready. She pauses, clearing her throat. And though I'm loath to mention it, the chorus can likely use your assistance. They certainly won't secure the outer valley on their own. Fifth Eye will be somewhere in that rat's nest they call a camp, due east. Seek them out if you must. Alright. Nice turquoise and iron walker boots. Interesting. Speak with Iron Marshal Arrhenius.
Right.
Athletic skill can be used to intimidate characters in conversations. Nice. Did not know that. So I got 8 days to make these people work harder. Let's see. Let's talk to Iron Marshal. Don't just coddle the impact, push back with your shield, take the momentum. said, eyes on your opponent's waistline. You spend more than a glance checking his footwork, you've lost. Stormcaller, we welcome you to our camp. The disfavored officer snaps to a salute. I'm sorry your arrival isn't for better reasons, but it's a pleasure to see you again, all the same. It is reassuring to see that Tunon sends a Fatebinder with the proper moral compass. This is the Iron Marshal, leader of the Iron Guard, chief of Graven Ash's inner circle of trusted advisors. You met with Iron Marshal Stalwart, where you ruled in favor of her plan to use captured Regent of Stalwart as a grim war standard to terrify the enemy. This plan was used to great effect, and the few remaining regents eventually gave up this will to fight all together. How are your warriors reacting to the edict? Kairos' ultimatum has the camp on edge. Some with dread, but most are rife with anticipation. She points to the men sparring on the field. We have a lot of brothers and sisters to avenge, and the warriors are eager to take out some aggression. I, for one, choose to see the edict as a blessing, for it forces the generals to act, and we're long overdue. As mentioned, you're short on warriors and need help. What's the situation? I have brigades amassing along Placid, Echo Hall, and the Little Tooth crossings. Venturing Guard may be able to hold on one on the bridge, but they cannot hold against a concerted three-prong attack. I have no right to give you orders, but her words falter, a short cough breaking her flow. But we all die to Kairos' edict should we fail, so I'm not about to let my pride blind me with the value of good help. I will assist. Our plan just might work. The Iron Marshal lifts her gauntlet close to her face, shifting her eyes from you to the metal articulations. We are loath to work with those who do not share our training, our values. We know that Tunon, the Adjudicator, selects only the most capable minds for his court, and I trust you will honor us on the field. Antio will be leading the charge at Echo Call Crossing. Assisting you will be Barrack of the Stone Shields. She points to a heavily armored soldier standing sentry at the edge of the training field. Before you ask, know the forge-bound weren't sloshed on the dapple seed when they fitted this armor. He survived the full force of the Edict of Storms, and his armor doesn't exactly come off. Tactically, it's quite brilliant, but otherwise it's somewhat of a curse. Barrack, come meet the Fatebinder.
Fatebinder, the Iron Marshal has tasked me with keeping you alive, and I have no intention of disappointing her. That should be enough assurance for anyone.
An honor.
Barrack, is that you under there? I had no idea you were in Vendrian's well. Fatebinder, do you know this walking anchor?
Maybe as heavy as an anchor, but at least he's not as dense as one.
Leave intellect to the sages in their fallen library. You would do better to know me as one iron link of the disfavored phalanx.
Iron Marshal. The Fatebinder will be joining us for the push across the river. I figured an extra hand might help, and more importantly, if my worries come true and the chorus tries to impede the mission, we will have an observer from the court on our side.
We were on less than agreeable terms during the conquest. You misrepresented the Legion to the Scarlet Chorus when some of our greatest victories took place at Stalwart. A shame you went to battle with your eyes closed.
Either Barrack growls or his armor shifts, perhaps both.
It's just my luck that I'm assigned to one of Tunon's legal clerks. I'm sure you think the rules don't apply to you, But I'm counting on you working with me and my squad to stop these Oathbreakers.
Iron Marshal. I ask that Barry accompany you there to tribute cooperation between his company and the Scholar Corps. Echo Call Crossing is now unlocked on the world map. Barrick, you've been without a cohort since the last battle of Starward. It's time we gave you a task more worthy than hauling wagons and leading training drills. She plants her hands on her hips and speaks in clipped official terms. Ash has assigned you to the Fatebinder service. You're to assume this task is ongoing until we find a more permanent spot for you, which could very well mean a swiftly approaching end of this war, or when the Fatebinder dismisses you. Is that understood? Barrick regards Iron Marshal in oppressive silence. It's an order, Barrick. She shakes her head and sighs, returning her focus to you. He can be as stubborn as a pulling spire out of the earth, but he's a good soldier. Hope you don't mind the company. Honored. Excellent. I look forward to your success in the field. Let's level him up. Let's start here. Resolve. Ability to endure physical and mental challenges. Primary attribute used to derive endurance, will, magic defenses. Also increases the durations of afflictions applied by the character. Vitality. Vitality determines a character's physical health and their strength of personality. Also increase will defense. I think health is vitality. Yeah, let's do vitality. Let's see. Punisher looks like he's dealing a lot of damage. Nice. Cool. Let's go with Punisher. Barrick becomes an intimidating force on the battlefield, and enemies near Barrick have their resolve reduced. -1 resolve for 3 seconds. This means they'll be weakened. Could do Art of the Blade, increases 1 and 2-handed melee weapon damage. %30 chance to attack foes when engaged. I'm gonna have to go with Art of the Blade. Cool. Let's go to stash, give him more potions. Let's look at his gear. See if I have any better shields for him. Nope. Okay. I'm gonna look at versus AI. Let's look at his AI. Do aggressive. Let's see, warrior. Barrick will focus on dealing damage effectively. Cool. And then I'm gonna look at first. Let's see the archer. First will attempt to fight considerably at a safe distance. She will prioritize targets with her bow attacks when possible. Canvas Splitter, Hobble Prey, Skull Splitter, and Burning Iron are used on targets whenever effective. If Verse is in danger, she will attempt to use her Unbound ability. I'm gonna have her on Archer.
Right.
Found a shield. Let's see how that compares to what I got. No good.
It's all in the reflexes.
Heavy leather boots. Those are a lot better than what I have. Plus 4 disengagement and defense. Minus 0.3 seconds recovery. Plus 1 deflection. Very nice. Oh cool, she doesn't have a helmet on yet. Nice. Alright. Pairing weapons with scrap isn't exactly what I got into this craft, but our supplies are spent. Why not forge bronze? Bronze will do in a pinch, but don't get me wrong, can take a beating and get bent back into shape, unlike the stubborn iron we have here. He glances at the pile of his work with dread. We always have plenty of tin and copper lying around, so supplies aren't the problem. It's a rare smith who can churn out military-grade bronze consistently. More often than not, it comes out soft. Look around camp. We're garbing the Legion head toe-to-toe in iron because it's cheaper and easier to produce for the masses. Couldn't do that with bronze. Of course, some of us do go overboard time to time. He looks Barrack up and down. I call it disfavored the Iron Legion for a reason. Strategy and skill may be our backbone, but our claws are made of iron. The good stuff that comes from the smith in Lethian's Crossing. Why not forge your own iron? Hear that, Barrack? Your work for art. A hot, stinking, unbearable sculpture of war. Forgive me, I don't share your enthusiasm in verse. I'm a tool for Graven Ash, to carry into battle, and I wear that distinction with pride. Do not bother to interact with me as anything else. Harsh critic. This is verse. You mentioned iron shortage. I'm afraid so. The last shipment sent down to the Matani went missing near Echo Call Crossing. And I'm afraid we won't be seeing any more now that the valley is sealed. Forgebound iron is Toon's responsibility. Why is this the first I'm hearing of it? Keep your voice down. If so, Tians flinches and lowers his chin, lowers his own. Graven Ash doesn't want to cause panic or to pass any information to the Venturing Guard. Best case scenario, the iron tumbled off a boat and is rusting on a riverbed. Worst case, it ends up in the enemy hands. I've been instructed to aid in operation in Echo Call. I'll keep an eye out for your shipment. I appreciate that, as does the Great General. More than you might guess. Maybe he isn't quick to offer his thanks to outsiders, but I know he'll be grateful for your help. It'd be a boon to the war effort if your iron was recovered. You can trust me to handle this. I knew that Tunin would have dispatched you without good reason. The court isn't exactly known for gambling when the stakes are high. He glances to a crate beside him and points to a small set of notches in the wood. You see that? That's how we tell apart iron shipments from the rest. Inconspicuous people don't go snooping around. You want to keep your eye out for these. Good hunting. I'd like to see your wares. Nice. Alright. Cool. So first, how did you do that? First looks at you with quizzical expression. Do what? Back in the Archon's war tent, you cast an edict as casually as reading a supply shipment. How'd you do that? Well, I've done it before. Don't I look stupid? You were the one who cast the Edict of Storms on Stalwart, didn't you? The one that tore the battlefield apart with the cyclone of Kairos' anger. That was me, alright. First, call me impressed, considering that you've read the words of Kairos more than once. I'm surprised that you're even alive to tell of it. Your vocal cords should have turned to ash by now. I'm not trying to make you feel uncomfortable, it's just worth recognizing what you've done. Not only are you Tuna's Fatebinder, you're the mouthpiece of the Overlord. Gives me plenty of reason to stick around. You're going places, and I want to see where they lead. It's enough for now. Cool.
It's all in the reflexes.
Nice. Very nice. Cool. Alright. Let's go over to... Let's see what the Scarlet Chorus is doing. Path is blocked by a small group of Vengerine Guard. You can go no further until you deal with them. I might be real evil this time around.
That's far enough, Fatebinder.
A woman's voice booms from atop a nearby outcropping. Flashes of aquamarine body paint peek out from under her loose, fitting traveler's garb, and her outfit is festooned in braids and knots of sailor's line. Flanked on either side by warriors dressed in Vengerine Guard regalia, the woman leans on an elaborate bladed staff, pulsing with arcane energy. A swath of blue fabric rests draped over her arm.
In accordance with ancient customs north and south, I offer and request a delay of blade. There are matters we must discuss without fear of reprisal.
The woman bows deeply, lowering her head. In a practiced display of etiquette, the warriors by her remain in a ready stance, their nerves clearly on edge. You detain a Fatebinder of Archon of Justice. Unwise.
As unwise as setting foot on our lands with dreams of conquest. If you're afraid of a few words, go ahead and run. Idiots and very young children are often afraid of me, so I understand if you need to retreat and soil yourself in private.
So usually, she's super powerful, I think. And usually, I let her live. But I might try killing her. We'll see. Maybe I'll agree with her. In accordance with ancient customs north and south, I abide by
As
this
is our
truce.
custom, we are ready to kill to defend our lands, but we kill only in fair battle. We don't slay our prisoners. We know this isn't Kairos's way, but we must have hope. A few of my kin have gone missing, and though they may have perished, I have to inquire on the off chance they still live. If Captain Tarkus Deimos still lives, we would negotiate for his release.
What would you offer in exchange, assuming he's our prisoner?
We would offer you 5 choirmen that got lost on patrol. They're healthy, got other limbs too.
I would not have us barter with Oathbreakers. Certainly not for anything less than disfavored lives.
You say there's something worth less than a disfavored life. Call me intrigued.
Should I lie? Sorry, that name means nothing to me.
No, I'm sorry. I'm asking about one man out of thousands that have been slain by Kairos's forces. It's not like I remember the name of all your friends that I've killed. If I may make one more inquiry, what of Palox Tyrell? Did he survive?
Another Oathbreaker, dead. Whoever you ask about next, I assure you, nothing can be done.
My apologies, Fatebinder. I had a terrible feeling this errand was in vain from the start. I had no expectations that our friends could be saved, as I'm sure the time for swapping prisoners is long gone. But at least I know of what became of them. That'll have to be enough.
We're through. Leave while you still can.
We shouldn't be socializing with
Shit, that's
Oathbreakers.
the wrong one.
I will entertain them as best I can. After
Shit.
all, understanding is the only hope we have. What is it you wish to know?
Who's in charge of this insurrection?
Listen to you. Thinking just like the Overlord wants you to think. There always has to be a person in charge or things don't make sense. Well, we don't answer to anyone. We are each of us sons and daughters of the Tears, and take this task upon ourselves freely. But Captain Tarkus Ari, former Falksman of Queen Vendry and Alanta, is the voice we trust when we seek unanimity.
That's all.
Fair enough. But now a question for you. The Edict. I can feel its magic coursing through the air. Everyone can. But those of us enlightened to the currents of magic feel it most. The wording of the Edict. What was it?
Kairos' forces must take Ascension Hall by the Day of Swords, or all in the valley shall perish.
In the name of the vaunted North, the will of Kairos should be delivered with blade and hammer, not to the ears of Oathbreakers and compromisers.
Curious. You did say all in the valley. So the Edict will affect Kairos' forces? This is most unexpected.
Yup.
That is most troubling. So either the soldiers come to destroy and kill us, or the Edict does the work. I suppose we should be so honored the Overlord is taking no chances on us. I've another question for you, if you will entertain it.
Are we really standing here and chatting with Oathbreakers? It's hard to watch. Like cuddling a goat you're going to kill for dinner.
Nope, we're done.
A shame. But if you have no heart for discourse, I will take no more of your time. In accordance to our ancient customs north and south, let us conclude this truce in peaceful accord. May peace find you soon, Fatebinder.
She and her retinue turn to leave. Can't remember if there's anything here. Oh, there's this. Blood Moss, plus 50 defense against bleeding attacks, immunity to bleeding. Removes random hostile effect. Nice. Trying to see if there's hidden items. Oh, there we go. Topaz, more blood.
Have a look here.
Sorry, I can't.
Alright. Let's get over to Echo Call Crossing. I'm gonna stop by Scholar Quarters. I think there's someone I can pick up here. Hold on the M key to maximize minimap or the combat log menu. Cool. I always like to explore to see if there are any items I can get.
Good thing I keep a torsion wrench handy.
Thanks for sticking around, chat. It's been fun. Cool, bent bronze deck. Guard places her hands by her belt as you approach, gripping the hilt of a blade. Past this point is chorus territory. You don't look like someone's conscript. You sure you're in the right place? I'm Ninma, Fatebinder of Toon. I'm here to help vanquish the Oathbreakers. You know, I think I was told to expect somebody, but you seem too ugly to be here. Her lips crumple to a smirk. Why exactly should I let you in? More importantly, what is this hulking tone of iron doing here? The guard gestures at Barrick. Athletics 32. Step in close. Push her down. Before she can draw her blade, you advance. Place your foot behind hers and give her a stiff shove of the shoulder. Caught off balance, she tumbles backwards, triggering an outburst of laughter in the other guard. I can't believe you sassed the Fatebinder. You're such a stupid pawnce. Didn't I tell you we had a special guest coming? The guard waves you with a smile. Come on in, and don't let ninny shitters in camp give you any guff. Thanks. Ooh. Do I have a lore skill high enough? Cool. Scroll sits here glowing with mystical energy. Learn a spell core. You discovered a new sigil. Use the magic menu to do stuff. So, this is new. What is this? Sigil of Illusion. Those who master Sigil of Illusion are skilled in the arts of deceit and trickery. So what does this do? 30% graze deflection, 30% hit deflection. Very awesome. Assign that to Ninma. Awesome. Now I have a new spell. I can buff people with that. Fifth Eye. Binder of Tuna arrives. Squealing with teenager's timber, the fifth eye's voice makes your gums itch and your fingernails feel in need of a trim. We just finished having a bit of sport with some captives, but worry not, we'll have more fun with another batch momentarily. Dressed in the bronze red regalia of crimson spears, the fifth eye beckons you to stand close, wagging a blood-splattered glove. Fifth eye. Now that you've issued the edict and doomed us all to die, have you come to help us climb out of this hole? Chirps of laughter emanate from under his mask. I trust you're getting your warriors ready for battle? Fifth eye. We know the Oathbreakers are focused on the citadel beneath the mountain spire. We have learned this is not their only nest. Given their pattern of attacks, they must have a second group maintaining the camp here in the outer valley, and unless we deal with the second group, they'll attack from behind the moment we cross the river. Alright. Remain silent. Fifth Eye, my last group of scouts, returned with a new batch of prisoners. One of these prisoners claims she can lead us to the Vengerine Guard's secondary camp. That there are sheds of deception in her voice. I could use your help in questioning this Varaya Kel. Perhaps you will get less screams and tears and more useful information out of her. If we knew where to ambush the Oathbreakers, we could try and take their captain and show him the wisdom of joining the chorus. I'll speak to the prisoner. I'll meet you there. She's waiting by the other prisoners. Ooh, cool. Horde boots, bronze hammer. Nice. Sundered bronze sword. Nice. Ooh, nice.
See that?
Rot spear. Enraged affliction for 127 seconds. Plus 4 might for 120 seconds.
Good thing I keep a torsion wrench handy.
Fire. 3 lesser healing potions. That's awesome. Cool.
Will do.
I think I'm supposed to be talking to her. Raquel, please, someone. I wish to bow before the voices of Nerat. I thought all could find redemption in the chorus. A woman in makeshift armor. The Vendrian guard lurches forward in agony. Her soiled, trembling legs suggest that she has been forced to stand for days. Fifth Eye. This one, he flippantly waves at the prisoner, was hollering earlier that she knows the location of the Vendrian guard encampment. But she isn't being entirely honest. Varayakel, I told this thing. The prisoner turns pale for a moment, before a look of determination comes over her face. I wanted a guarantee I'd live and be welcomed into the chorus as a captain. Then I'll talk. Otherwise, they'll just kill me once I've opened up. I was dumb enough to join the Vendrian Guard, but I'm not dumb enough to give away my bargaining bronze. Tell me what you know, and I can see to your release. Varaya? I heard that the chorus is looking for Captain Pelix Valorian and his crew. I can lead you to them, but only if you release me. Athletics. Raise your voice, start talking now. Well, you see, shaken by your demand, her lips move wordlessly for several seconds. I don't know exactly where the rest of my crew is, but I can tell you. She shakes her head, catching her breath. Search that one. She reaches up with her right leg and points with her foot, calling attention to a nearby pile of corpses. The tall, dark one, missing most of his face. Check his left boot. He was the illiterate one out of our crew. He had the orders. With the snap of his fingers, a pair of choirmen yank the boot off the fallen guardsman. A roll of parchment slides out of the boot, is thrust into the Fifth Eye's hands. He unfurls a scroll to give it a read. It's nonsense, just a mash of words. Laughter erupts under the mask. She said she had information, she gives us garbage. Slay this wretch for wasting our time. He snaps his fingers at a nearby Scarlet Fury, who promptly snatches the long knife from her belt. Heard her say she'd swear fealty to voices in her hat. Initiation rite would be in order. Seeing as you're an expert on the subject of fate, I'll entertain your wisdom on the matter. What then would be your purpose we do with her? Test her loyalty, for I kill these two guardsmen with something blunt. Good. The Fifth Eye places his bloody hand on the trembling woman's shoulder, nods to her. Welcome to the Scarlet Chorus. Do not fail us. Where is the slave to clean up the offal when you need it? We're no closer to finding the Oathbreaker's position, not with this cryptic mess. She promised us answers, and all she gave us was gibberish.
Sorry to interrupt, but I highly doubt it's gibberish. More likely, it's one of the local scripts.
Who are you?
I'm Sage Lantry, one of the hired Quills that was coordinating missives between the Vendrian Guard captains. They aren't paying me anymore and aren't coming to my rescue. So I'll decipher that parchment for you. That's what smart prisoners do, right? Make themselves useful?
Show him the parchment. Can you read this?
Well, let me see. I can't. Uh-huh.
You hold the parchment in front of the bound sage. His eyes dart down the length of the missive. He reads the words a second time, nodding in silence.
So, I don't know exactly what it says, but I'm half certain that's Sage Selwyn's handwriting. I'm sure I could decipher that in a few hours' time. Don't need my hands free, but I think better when not tied to a post. I know, I'm weird that way.
A few hours, either you can read it or you cannot. What use is a sage that doesn't know his letters? I've heard all I need to hear. I say we have some fun with this one. Can't hurt to give him a few hours. You read the edict. I don't need to tell you the sundial is working against us. This addle-owed bag is just trying to stop us. Untie him, give him the chance, translate.
Fatebinder, I beseech you, be my advocate for this trial. I'm no fool. I know the chorus uses blood, not words, to settle these matters. But you are a servant of the Archon of Justice, are you not?
Release this prisoner at once. I'm taking him to my custody. Not a chance. He's our prisoner. If you think you can crack the information we need out of his skull without troubling the Archon, that's one thing. If you're not walking out of here with our property, grab him by the mask. Did you just tell me no? Chorus warrior emits a whimpering squeal as you grab him by the chin of his mask and pull him close. Gloved hands pressed against you, but try as you might, his push cannot exceed your pull. Release the prisoner to me, and I won't shame and degrade you in front of your full view of your followers. Yes, yes. He grunts and stammers as he struggles to wrest free from your grip. Once you release him, he shuffles to regain his composure. Release the sage, he's Fatebinder's problem now. The sage is unbound from the post, stiff legs nearly buckle as he attempts to walk, and his arms flex and flail in their new freedom. Wiping sweat and grime from his brow, the sage steps close to you with a nervous smile.
Thank you. Oh, I thought I was going to wind up as another corpse in that pile. Now, hand me that parchment. The sooner I can find out what it says, the sooner I can get out of this place.
Much apartment was weathered, but I could make out some important parts of the text. The note makes mention of a meeting spot west of Triple Nettle. I knew the area. I suggest we go at once. Alternative is what? Living here with these illiterate brutes. My old study under a river of fire, and there's no family missing on it. Besides, much rather chronicle the binder that twice proclaimed edict of Kairos. I'd be a fool to let someone else write your story. Swear fealty to me, and I will let you leave this place with me. If that's your price, I will pay it. I, Sage Lantry of the School of Ink and Quill, do pledge services and Skyn to the Fatebinder, and by extension to the Court of Tunin. He dips into a steep bow before rising with a solemn smile. Alright. Verse, are we done here? Let's hightail to Triple Nettle. If your new pet doesn't behave himself along the way, I'm not above clipping his ears. Damn, so much reading. So, I'm going to save, and then I'll come back tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. Thanks so much for watching. Sorry I got all groggy. Super tired. Hails, and have a good night.